tri-pedal reviews, I thought I would make a quick tutorial of setting up the Helix as a MIDI controller for the SourceAudio Nemesis Delay. This was my first time setting up or dealing with MIDI in any way, shape, or form, and I figured somebody might find it useful. The first part of the video here is just demonstrating how to switch presets on the Nemesis directly and what it looks like. You have 4 presets by default and 8 if you enable the extended preset mode in the Neuro app. For connections, we have plugged in a standard MIDI cable running from the MIDI out port on the Helix to the MIDI in port on the Nemesis. We will be using the Helix as a MIDI controller to change parameters on the Nemesis. We have connected the Nemesis Delay to effects loop 1 of the Helix. I have created a simple patch with an amp and the effects loop coming directly after it. I've included examples of several things you may want to control on the Nemesis Delay. This is only a few examples of what can be done. I would suggest if you are interested in more control with MIDI, you take a look at SourceAudio's documentation. You can get pretty in-depth with your editing and controlling the different parameters of the pedal, but that is beyond the scope of the tutorial here. This is just a guide to get you started. In order to program the switches to do what you want them to do, you want to press the menu button, then click Command Center. You can touch the switch you would like to program, and the Helix will automatically jump you to it as shown here. The first example is preset down. Since this is just a cycle control, we don't necessarily want it toggling, so we'll just program it to use a MIDI CC message. We can leave MIDI channel at base on all of these examples. The CC number is the most important part. This controls what command you are giving the Nemesis. The CC number for changing the preset down is 80. The value doesn't matter in this instance. Next is preset up. Same idea as before, but with the CC number of 82. All the other parameters are the same. The next example is changing the delay engine. The Nemesis Delay actually has currently 23 delay types, though this will probably increase in the future. Here we have programmed the Helix to switch the Nemesis to the tape engine. Here are the control message parameters you'll need to change to the different delay engines. This table was lifted from SourceAudio's documentation. I'll link to their site where you can find that documentation in the description. The value does matter in this instance, as each value represents a different engine. The tape engine happens to be number 3, which is the example that we're doing here. The next example is the infinite hold function. We set this as a latching switch because we want to be able to turn it on and off. The on-off or dim-lit values need to be below 63 for off and above 63 for on. In this instance, the default values work just fine for what we want to do. Our last example here is tap tempo. Here are the settings for that. Now that we have all the examples set, let's see a small clip of them in action.
Yeah.